Welcome to ScrambledTheBook.com. I'm Martin Richard, author of Scrambled 10-Year Edition. Earlier this year, Tim Duffy and I were asked by Brook Lapping Productions to be interviewed for their upcoming documentary, 9/11, The Day That Changed the World. Duff and I traveled to New York City, where we met with producer Talia Tibon and director Leslie Woodhead. Their movie is the definitive inside story about Tuesday, September 11th, 2001, from the people who were on the front lines. Chosen by the Department of Defense and in association with the Smithsonian Institution, this documentary is an amazing retelling of our stories, and I hope you'll watch it on September 5th, 2011. Here is the trailer from the SmithsonianChannel.com website.
We have a hijacked aircraft headed towards New York.
My first thought was, this can't be an accident. We don't have a plan for this.
Not only was New York under attack, so was Washington.
I got an aircraft 6 miles east of the White House.
We had to try to avoid another attack.
This interview with producer Talia Tibon and award-winning director Leslie Woodhead gives you insight into the vision they had for this film. Watch it on September 5th, 2011 on the Smithsonian Channel.
We've all seen those terrible, terrible images over and over again. I remember going through who was in what floor that I knew. I'm Talia Tibon. I'm the producer of this documentary, The Day That Changed the World. And it attempts to tell the story of 9/11 from the inside.
We have a hijacked aircraft headed towards New York.
We're hearing the story from the people who were at the very top of decision-making on that day. And we're going into what went through their minds.
At that moment, I didn't know what had hit the Pentagon.
How they reacted emotionally, how they reacted in terms of leadership.
If in fact we have a hijacked airliner, then our pilots needed to be authorized to shoot it down.
What's different about this documentary is the use of archive material. Very often we will be using images that haven't been seen before, and they're being connected to some specific stories that people are telling.
When that first tower went down, that was a truly horrendous moment. You just knew that you'd seen people die. I did reach out for Dick's hand. There was one long, slow blink, and then he went back to work.
We are synchronizing the stories of the witnesses with the very dramatic archive.
I feel somebody grab my back very hard and start pushing me to run. I didn't know why I was running. So I stopped, turned back, and I saw this big cloud.
We call it the day that changed the world. It had consequences we're still dealing with, we probably will be in the next decades. 10 years later, you sort of really want people to still be able to go back to that moment and take a moment to really remember what happened on that day.
Please join me on September 5th, and let's never forget the events of 9/11, the day that changed the world. It will air on the Smithsonian Channel at 8 p.m. Thank you, and check 6.